Welcome to Hollywood Approved. Each episode is an exploration of taste as we dive into the good, the bad, the unexpected in TV and movies. Tune in for celebrity guests, stay for the surprising recommendations. This is Hollywood Approved. Yay! Hello, everyone. It is Stacey again on her own once again. Yael will be back next week, but until then, I have a fantastic guest. This woman kicks butt and takes no names. She has no time for names. We're excited to have her on, Ukrainian born actress. She is going to be starring in Black Adam, which we're very excited to talk with her about today. Everyone, it is Natalie Burn. We say hi, Natalie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you,
We're
Stacey. I love the
yes.
introduction.
We are so happy to have you on, and I can't wait to get into it with you. So I know
Yay.
you were Ukrainian born. When did you come to the US, and when did you decide to kind of start making acting your thing?
Oh my God, we're gonna be here for a while. Yeah, I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, which is, I mean, devastating. What's going on right now? I
Mhm.
cannot believe it that my hometown is just being completely destroyed. I feel like it's never gonna be the same, and I'm shocked. But I moved after a while, not long after, like I was about 6 7 years old. I moved to Moscow. I lived in Moscow for only 4 years, because I was a ballerina.
Mhm.
I actually graduated from the Royal Ballet School in London, which I moved shortly after to London. Grew up there, like lived there for 9 years. Love London. And then unfortunate devastation happened, and I got injured, and that's when I was
Oh.
like, you know what? I'm not gonna quit the art business. I'm just gonna figure out how to like still stay on stage, and that's when I decided to pursue my career as an actress, and I moved to Hollywood. So that was like 10, 11 years ago. That was a while ago. Yeah. So now I'm an American. I'm an
Yeah.
actor.
I saw that you have become an American citizen,
Yeah.
and I love that, the roles that you choose to take always have this edge to them, which is so funny considering, you're kind of like a ballerina, which
I
is,
know.
very soft, but then there is a hardness to
Yeah.
ballet, and there's something that's so slick about that personality. Have you been able to kind of hone those skills into your acting career?
Oh my God. Thanks for noticing. You're absolutely right. Like ballet comes with so much grace and elegance. And I think that was always my that was always what I was good at, but I wasn't the best at that. Like the parts that I would pick and the roles that I portrayed as a dancer were always like more fiery and more like strong women. I rarely performed the Dying Swan,
Mhm.
Giselle. I was always like I have a fiery personality by nature. So I'm just like I've always been drawn to something way more uplifting and way more like strong, I guess, and more fascinating. So I played like Don Quixote. I played like Spanish dancing mostly. I played Carmen. I played like Black Swan, obviously. So anything to do with the opposites, I was always attracted to that. And I think that's what I kind of brought into my acting career as well as like movies. I'm still drawn to those strong women, the ones that are not so weak, but have, strength to go on and, to overcome their obstacles. Like, I just want to tell as many stories like that as possible to just encourage women out there in the world in general.
Now, what kind of got you into producing?
Producing came, I guess, because, you know, again, with being an actor auditioning, it's just like a daily thing, and you get these roles that are not exactly what you were hoping. I mean, eventually, when you're probably like a superstar, then you get to choose. But since I just came here, I was like, you know what? I want to see also the other side of the camera and see how movies have been made. And I went to UCLA Extension, the summer program, and I decided to study producing. And I just kind of like I fell in love with the idea of how can I put something together and create it from scratch, and it will be like my own. Of course, it doesn't take one person to make a movie. I realize
Oh,
it's
yeah.
after. It doesn't matter how passionate, creative, or determined I am. You still need a like a insane amount of people behind you supporting you and supporting your vision. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to create parts, for myself and for other people, and like create projects, like and tell stories. And to be honest, like we talked earlier, like once you realize that somebody else's work, it matters a lot, to us and to our industry. And it's so you start value it a lot more once you do it. So now I
Right.
understand everybody's position on set. Like I know the crew, I know what they're doing, I know the hard work that they're putting into like making a movie, to making the movie great. And so I respect those people a lot more now, and I just understand them. I understand where they're coming from, because I did it. I tried everything to figure out, well, what does it actually take to make a movie. And when movies get made, I never ever judge what's on screen.
Right.
I say, look, I want to learn from it, and I congratulate for those who made the movie, because it's so hard, especially nowadays. So
Well, I think it's such an interesting trajectory, especially when you kind of go in just saying, "Oh, I just want to be an actress and, I'll do these lines." And then it's like, "Well, I'm going to take this producing lab. Oh, well, I'm going to write, star, and produce my own action film called Awaken out of
yeah,
2015." Well, what was that experience like, especially getting it to the point where they were like, "Yes, you can do this." And you're like, "Okay." What was that feeling like?
I think it's like anything, like the most important person who has to believe in making something is yourself. So
Mhm.
once I woke up and I was like, you know what, I can do it. And then there was no way out. It was just me figuring out that step after step after step, and seeing how, if people have done it before, then I can do it. It's just a matter of looking into it, and organizing myself, organizing the right group of people behind me, and putting it together. And now as an actor, when I sit in a trailer, wait for my part to come in, when I'm just acting, I'm super quiet. I'm like, oh no, it's okay. I know what's going
Right.
on, but
I
something's
don't
happening.
need anything, I'm good.
I'm good. Like everybody's like, oh, I hate this waiting. Like, so what's going on? Like, let's go chat. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Mm,
I'm a producer. I'm good. I know what's going on. Something's going on,
exactly.
and something that we should not know about, but it's okay. They're figuring it out for us. So I just don't stress anymore. And whenever somebody tells me, oh no, we just have this budget, I'm like, I totally get it. I know.
Let's
It's all
do
right.
it. Yeah.
I do
I
you a
love
favor,
that.
you do me a favor. So yeah, and with
Hey,
Awake,
there you
with
go.
yeah, with Awaken, it was a long road, but eventually we got it made, and it's so many obstacles. I mean, I can't even tell you. I can't even describe like how many different things have happened with that movie. But from like Daryl Hannah showing up on set, and I was like, oh, I have this whole scene we've shot the day before. All we needed is to plug her into the final scene of her like walking around. And unfortunately, like she comes in and she's wearing a cast and she cannot walk.
Oh,
So we're like, we literally just shot all around her thinking she's gonna walk here, she's gonna walk there. She's like, oh,
yeah.
I can't walk. Just place me somewhere. So I was like, oh my God, that needs like tons of reshooting. Of course, how do we do stuff and we don't lose money, we don't lose time, and we still save the movie and we get it made on time? Because that's,
Mhm.
for as a producer, legitimately, that's the number one rule.
The
Get
clock.
how do you get it done and don't go over budget?
Mhm.
So we faced lots of obstacles, but we got it done.
But you did it. You got it done. I
Yeah. And
love
I
that story.
yep, and I kept going. So that's the idea.
I was gonna say I love that story because it does speak to the perseverance of it all and what's needed, but also what you want to inspire others is to show them that perseverance and know that if you keep pushing, you can accomplish what you want to. So I think that's very, very cool.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, so we have this wonderful gap year, is what I've been calling it. But Corona comes in and sweeps Hollywood by storm.
Um,
Everyone's inside. Everything is getting canceled. It's getting shut down, delayed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, we're coming out of it, and suddenly, finally, Black Adam is coming to theaters, and you are in it. Tell us about now, when did you shoot that? Did you shoot it pre-pandemic or was it after?
No, it was like slightly after, but we were
Mhm.
still being moderated. And obviously, like we had to be tested all the time. And I flew
Right.
several times to Atlanta, had to do tons of tests. I mean, it was insane. I can't believe we went through that. It was like, wow.
Isn't it wild? Yeah.
But it was, I mean, that movie, I can't wait for it to come out as well. It looks insane. I haven't seen the film, and I was so happy and stoked and just unbelievably shocked that I booked something off of a tape. Like for
Well,
me,
that's what I
that's
was gonna ask. Tell us about your character and then what that audition process was like.
so I was in Atlanta at the time shooting another movie called Relentless, searching for my sister. It was for A&E Network for Lifetime, and I was lucky enough to get an agent, and she got me this audition, and I was like, "What is it for?" She's like, "Black Adam," and I was like, "No." I'm like, "That's
Right.
my come true to be like, in a major DC, Marvel, whatever it is, like superhero movie. I mean, it's huge. Who doesn't want to be in something like that?" So of course I was like, "Oh my god, yes, I really want it." I auditioned, and nothing. I had to wait forever. Nothing. I was like, "Well, just another audition, like whatever." Moving on. So, and then later on, like about a month after, I get a call from her. She's like, "You know what? I think you booked it." And I was like, "You think?" She's like, "Yeah."
Like, what does that mean?
She's like, I can't tell what character you're playing. And I was like, "Well, I read for this." She's like, "Yeah, they're figuring it out. They really, really liked you and they loved you and they're gonna let you know, But I think, yeah, you got it." And so another month passes, and then finally she sends me an email and they approved me and they give me a part. And it wasn't the part that I auditioned for, so I don't know how this one came along, but they were like, "Look, they really, really liked you and they want to have you." So that was it. And then I had to fly to Atlanta several times, costume fitting, meeting people, and it just like for the film itself. And I was astonished when I was on set, of course. Like, I mean, I'm making movies, I act in films or shows, but this was another level. This is like a dream. It's like you wake up and you're in
Yeah.
this insane, like amazing production where you're like, "I can't believe everything is flying. I can't believe there's like so many cameras all around me." And of course people, like there were so many like people, like crew wise, and of course like background. And I was thinking, I was like, "Oh my god, if I just mess this up, I mean, imagine that I have to reshoot the whole thing." Like that's my thought. I was like, "Please don't mess it up, because then they'll be like, 'Natalie, what are you doing?'" I'm like, "Huh? Huh?"
You're right.
I'm like, "What?"
Like, I'm overwhelmed. There's a lot
I'm
going on.
Yeah, it was so much going on, but I was like, "No, stay focused. This is exactly why you're here, what you were born for. I can do this." So it was amazing. It was a beautiful, amazing experience, and thank you for booking me and give me such opportunity. So
That sounds like an absolute blast. Now, it's coming out on the 21st of October, is that right?
yes.
All right, to a theater near you, you guys go see this movie starring The Rock, of course, and our lovely Natalie Burn. I'm very, very excited. So I know you can't do any spoilers or anything, but do you get a chance to kick some butt in it?
So I'm using a weaponry. That's what I use.
Oh,
I have
okay. All
heat that
right.
I'm so
All right, we'll leave it there. We're not going to
yeah.
get you in any trouble today, at least. But I am so excited to see you in it. Congratulations. Is there anything else that you're working on currently?
So I just had a new movie come out as well called The Enforcer that I
Hmm,
produced, and I'm starring it alongside amazing, legendary Antonio Banderas, Kate Bosworth, and
yes.
2 Chainz.
Oh,
So I
wow.
hope you guys
Very
check
fun.
it out. It's out. It's out. It was in
Is
the
it on
theaters for.
VOD or
It's on
theaters?
VOD already. It was in theaters for like some time, and now it's already on VOD. So I hope you guys check it out. Yeah.
Excellent.
It
The
was a long.
Enforcer.
That was a long process. That took me
Mhm.
5 years to put together. 5 years.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
did you write it or were you using a different already, like, did you buy a script for it?
Yeah, I optioned the script by this amazing writer, Peter Iliff. He wrote the original Point Break, Varsity Blues, just a fantastic writer. And it took me 1 year to convince him to option the script to me that I can produce it. He was like, "And why would you think you can produce this movie?" I was like, "I got you. I got you." I had
Hmm.
no idea what I was doing, but I'm so happy that he finally got convinced. I don't know how, but a girl comes in and she's like, "Look, I'm gonna make your movie," and he's like,
Exactly.
"Really? Sure." I mean, he's been in the industry forever. He's worked with so
Mhm.
many talented directors and actors. He's like, "Really? And now you're gonna make my movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I promise, no matter what." And I kept my promise. It was
Well, I
up
think
and
that
down,
cast,
like anything, but I just we got it done. So yeah,
yeah.
check it out.
The cast sounds amazing. We all love Antonio Banderas, and Kate
Mhm.
Bosworth is fantastic. Two Chains, who doesn't love a Two Chains?
He is
And so,
amazing. We
is
were
he?
like oh my God, I was shocked. And he's such a dedicated actor. He's like,
Mm,
he wants to learn more. He's totally open to like opinions and suggestions and corrections. And he was like, "Yeah, give it to me. Bring me, tell me. Like, I wanna learn. I wanna do more of this." He's like a natural. He's very like goofy in a way, but dangerous at the same time. So yeah, definitely check him out because he's got a future as an actor for sure.
all right. Well, we're going to keep an eye on him for sure. And I'm excited. The Enforcer now on VOD. Everyone definitely add that to your list. Check it out. Just the title sounds super fun. Can you give us like a short synopsis?
Um, so it's basically Antonio plays this mobster named Kuda, and he's been in the industry for a long time, and he works for this femme fatale, played by Kate Bosworth, who basically hires him to do things for her, and she gets involved with this sex trafficking.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's when he, pulls the plug and says, "You know what? I'm not going to be involved in that." He's got this really difficult relationship with his daughter, and when he meets a runaway girl outside, she kind of reminds him of his daughter. And then when she gets kidnapped, of course, that's when he was like, "You know what? I'm out, and I'm gonna go save this girl, and I'm gonna finally turn around and make something worthy of myself." So he's got a really redeeming quality in the movie, and it's just the arc that he created and the character. It's magnificent. It's so it touches your heart until like the end of
Mhm.
the movie. Like I loved him in this film. He was amazing to work with as an actor, and of course, like once you look at the final product, you're like, wow, that's why he is who he is.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. Well, that sounds so great. I'm excited for more people to see that as well. And now we are going to move on to our second part where we talk about what we've watched, what we want to watch, et cetera, et cetera. So the first one that we are going to ask today is, what is the last thing that you watched, Natalie? Oh, uh-oh. Do we have a freezing moment? Here, let's. It looks like our guest froze a little bit. We'll give her a minute to come back on. In the meantime, of course, you can check out more fantastic HCA shows like Pop Council and any of our after shows on our YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We love to hear from you guys. And oh, okay, she's coming. We're making our way back around. And if you guys haven't seen The Enforcer yet, definitely check it out. If you like Natalie at all, you will love, love, love that movie. All right, here we go. Hey, Natalie, we got you back.
I don't know what happened. You
You
see,
gotta love it. It's
and you
just
were
if we're
worried about your
live
connection.
and
Yeah, and you were worried about your mistakes. You see, I'm like,
I'm probably had something to do with it. Who knows? But I'm glad you are back. You are ready to go. We were asking, what is the last thing that you watched?
oh, Jeffrey Dahmer show. I thought
Yeah.
I thought the show was creepy, amazing, horrifying at the same time. And I think Evan Peters did an amazing job. He's one of my favorite actors nowadays. I
Yeah.
think he's totally underrated. I think I would work with him any day of the week because personally, when I work with actors that are that amazing, I think I become more amazing. So I become better by just watching them and just being there with them in the scene. So I would
Yeah.
love to pick his brain and just share the scene with him because it would be like, or a movie it would be amazing. The show is very though disturbing. I
Hmm.
can't believe that Netflix did it. I was kind of surprised, but at the same time, I think you know what they're taking chances on more bold things, bold topics. It's 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 very twisted. It's uncomfortable, but that's what makes it. It makes it even more uncomfortable knowing that that was a true story. So if it
Right.
was fiction, I'd be like, "Cool, nice show, awesome, good job, you guys." But the
Hmm.
fact that that was real, the whole show, I was just like stunned. I was like, "No, no." But then I'm looking at as a perspective as an actor, and I think he did an amazing job. So I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
he's in
He was
that's
fantastic. He did a
he.
really, really good job. The thing that I really enjoyed about this version is that they paid a lot of attention to the victims, to the
Oh yeah,
who are mostly Black and Brown and who are
yeah.
LGBTQ. I definitely like that they paid attention to them and to the people who tried to say, "Hey, this is
Oh
going on. Something is wrong." And
yeah,
that's a part of the story that we don't usually hear that much.
yeah. No, the actress Niecy Nash,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
fantastic. I think she's going to get nominated for an Emmy for that because, and she
I hope
deserves
so.
it. He is just
Mhm.
phenomenal. It's him and her just doing this, and that's why the show works. And of course, like you said, the fact that they paid attention to the actual victims, and I feel like, I mean, he had to have been like a racist because he really targeted his. It seems like he targeted his victims very specifically. And I was shocked that that happened back then, and
Well,
nobody paid
it's
it.
opportunistic is what it is because you know that you can definitely get away with
Get away
that
with it. Yes,
more
get away with it,
easily, and so
especially.
yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's why I was like, oh my God. So he was a psychopath, but also very, very smart psychopath, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oof.
He knew where to go, where to be, he knew where to live. Like he also, I feel
Mhm.
like, targeted exactly where he wanted to be. And that's what, the lead actress like she mentioned that straight away. Why would you stay here? Like what you got here? Like,
Exactly.
why are you here? So that's kind of
Mhm.
brought questions straight away to, I mean, there's so many like clues there, but yet people just completely didn't listen and they overwrote everything. And the show just tells this horrifying story in an amazing way. So if you've
Yeah.
got guts to watch a show like that, I'd say watch it because it's eye opening.
So I went through a thing where I watched this and then I watched Blonde directly after, and I was like, "Okay, I
Me
want
too.
something." Yeah,
Oh
right?
my God, me too. So guess I did the same thing. I watched Blonde too, and well, I haven't finished it because it's a very long movie, so I had to
It's
pause
very
because I
long.
go, yeah. But I mean, I loved her performance, but again, it's a very complex movie. I was thinking something like,
Exactly.
oh, uplifting Marilyn Monroe. We have these
No.
ideas of
Mm-mm.
how she looked, how she like played, how she acted, all those wonderful movies of hers. But then they really took the dark side of her and just like the movie itself, it's very complex. And again, to me, very uncomfortable to watch. But
Yeah.
it's still interesting. So yeah, I was enjoying it too.
I was about to say, if you guys want to check out my review, it is linked in my bio, so check it out.
I check
But
it out. But you
yeah,
have to watch.
I had a lot of thoughts about
Yeah,
it. And so
yeah.
I thought it was a beautiful movie and I think she's fantastic. I don't think it was a movie about Marilyn Monroe. And so
No,
yeah,
that's
so
I
check out The
agree. I agree.
Wrestler.
I think as an actress she did amazing, but I saw her, but I couldn't hear Marilyn Monroe. So
Exactly.
that was taking me away a little bit from the concept of what they were trying to tell
Right.
us. So it was mostly like, oh, so it's an actress who's playing Marilyn Monroe. So and
Right.
and, and in a way that's what the movie was about. It was about that Marilyn was a creative fictitious character that she kept.
Exactly.
So it was
But
so
yeah, it
entertaining.
was yeah, and I love Anna Darmus, and I've
Yeah,
I've always called her kind of like a modern day Isabella Rossellini. She's kind of like she has that thing of taking quirky roles and really putting everything of herself into them to like really interesting effect. And
yeah.
so I am
I got
excited to kind of see
I
what
got
she
to
does
meet her.
next.
I got to meet her in real life when she did just that movie Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves,
Mm,
and
yes.
she's a beautiful flower. She's very nice and sweet and just absolutely loving human being. So
Mhm.
I know she's gonna go far, and she's gonna like I'm already like impressed with how her career has evolved and what kind of part she's been undertaking. So
Yeah, she's good times, very good times.
hmm
Mine was oh, so yes, so after Blonde, I said, well, I want to keep with spooky season, but I need something a little more light. So I checked out Netflix's The Midnight Club.
uh,
Now, when I saw that trailer, I remember I was like, why do I know this? I said, I
mhm.
know this. What do I know this from? And I was like, wasn't this a Christopher Pike book? And so,
It's
like, if
based on a
any
book.
of you, yeah, so it was a YA book. So really, if you were young, you kind of started with the Fear Street Saga and
Mhm.
R.L. Stine, and they had like the little books. But then as you grew, you could get into like the more adult YA fiction, I guess, or like, oh, I'm 14, now I can read this, that kind of thing. And
Right.
so Christopher Pike was like that area. And this was one of the books, The Midnight Club, where it wasn't necessarily scary,
Mhm.
but it was so much more heartfelt. And so when I heard that Mike Flanagan had picked it up, I was like, "Oh, of course he did.
Of course.
Of course this is the one that he
Yeah.
chose." It is very YA, and there's some things with the ending that, here or there, whatever, but I did enjoy it. Um, I had a really good time. I would recommend it, but not as like not necessarily like, "Oh, I wanna see something that's gonna scare me to death," but more like, "Oh, I like the nostalgia of the
Mm.
Christopher Pike of it all." There's a lot of '90s music and, like,
Oh, I love.
Walkmans and just yeah, '90s stuff and all of that, and so it's very fun from that angle, and it's just good to kinda have on and just
I love.
watch and peruse, so
So I saw the trailer for that, but I haven't seen it yet, and it's definitely on my list
mhm.
because I love
Yeah.
the I love the trailer. The trailer is like intriguing, and I love horror movies and horror shows and something that spooks you. And now you're telling me it's more dramatic. I'm still gonna watch it because I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
atmosphere
Well, it's
of
Mike
it.
Flanagan. Yeah, that's
Ah,
it, but, that's the kind of stuff because I wasn't huge into horror,
mm.
and, when Haunting a Hill House came out, I was like, "Absolutely not. This is
I
terrifying to
loved
me. I
it.
can't
I
oh, I
loved it.
can't." But well,
But
so
the
then I finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, "God dang it, I love this," and I have it
yeah,
on DVD now, and I absolutely love it, and even though I watch most of it like this, I'm like,
no,
I
about
absolutely have a great time.
the thing about that show is definitely his filming. I mean, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's the
It's
it's
beautiful.
it's a class. It's a master class on its own. You watch it and you're like, oh, how do you do that? How do you do that? It's just it's magnificent. Like when I saw it, I was like. I was paying attention to the story and I knew what I was watching, but at the same time, I was just completely shocked about the way he was filming it and the
Oh, the
things he
best thing
saw.
is watching it right. The best thing is watching it the first time, and then you go back and watch the second time,
And you
and you look
see,
for, like, the little
yeah,
Easter
oh my
eggs,
God,
and
yeah,
then you
yes,
watch it a
so,
third time for the technique, then you watch it a
yeah,
fourth time for that kind of thing. So it's
yeah,
definitely rewatchable. And,
yes.
even through Bly Manor, which was a little bit more,
Yeah,
melodramatic than it
yeah,
was scary, but then, Midnight Mass, fantastic, one of
Midnight
the
Mass.
best endings.
Yeah,
So I was definitely in it for that, and I think as, like, a YA version and for the nostalgia it works. Plus, I really love that he has we don't have too many actors that use the same kind of group of actors anymore.
Mhm.
Like the Orson
Oh,
Welles would kind of always have like Agnes
yeah,
Moorehead, Joseph Cotten, you know, those people who were always in that clique. And
yeah,
Mike Flanagan definitely has the
please,
Flanagan crew, and I love
yeah.
it.
I
So
love
yeah,
that
it's good
too. Yeah. That
time.
mass was very, very entertaining. And I had no idea what I was going into. And when I started watching, I was like, wow, I've never seen anybody like do such an interesting take well, I don't want to spoil anything like what's happening in it, but it was a different way of telling a completely, you know, different story. Like it was
Exactly. Exactly.
it's something
Oh,
like I
so
was
good.
completely shocked and again, like I was like, oh my god, I had no idea what the show was about, and then it just reveals itself and it
Yeah.
reveals itself, and you're like, oh, I get it
Woo,
now.
that ending
Rose, the
haunts
end.
me to
Oh
this
yeah,
day.
I remember I went to sleep when I was like, I cannot stop thinking about it. This is amazing, and when it's amazing, you can't deny it. Like it just goes inside of you, and like you're walking around like in this awe. You're like, oh, I cannot believe this guy did this. This is crazy. So those are the kind of stuff
Right?
I'm drawn to myself to. Yeah, love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So our next one is your comfort show and or movie. We let's do your TV show first.
Okay, my TV show is Breaking Bad. Yay! I absolutely love that show. I mean, that show is still number one show for me of all times.
Mhm.
I can watch it over and over again. And I don't even know what it is that I'm drawn to, but I love the characters. I like the performances. I love what the show is about. I mean, I don't do drugs, never done drugs. I don't support drugs, but
And
I
this
was
makes me not want to. Yeah.
like, that's what I'm saying. So it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm fascinated by how they, cook drugs or anything. No, it's not even, that's not about that. Like, it's just so much more deeper than that. And like the character, like what obviously the two lead characters, what they overcome to and what their arc is and where they end up in the end is just, it's amazing. So
Mhm. Yeah, it
my
was an
favorite show.
adventure, a journey to say the least.
Yeah.
And for movie,
My favorite movie of all times is Aliens. I love Aliens. Cameron, James Cameron's Aliens. I love Alien too, but the first part, but I love Aliens. James Cameron is
mhm,
amazing. And of course, why? Because of Sigourney Weaver. And she is a badass and somebody I want to be like. And I'm just looking up to all the time. And every time there's a movie with her, I want to watch. But that Aliens, anytime it's on TV, I have to watch it. That's the one I
yeah,
start on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Let's do it. Let's do it. And that's the crazy part. No matter how many times I've seen it, and I'm telling you, I've seen that movie probably 100 times now. Every time, still, like I find something that I haven't noticed about their set design or something. I'm like,
isn't that
wait, what's
fun?
that
Yeah.
background? What do you use? What is that? And I'm like, I've never noticed that. Like I've never noticed this rain here. I never noticed that like chain. What is that chain? Where does it come from? Like, and like it's fascinating how a director like that who's a complete genius came on set and created this world where I mean I thought it was just way ahead of its time because we're watching it today and we're still like shocked of how do you do it? How do you do it? It's
Right.
just every single thing is just such a detail, of how he wanted to tell the story. And I saw a bunch of his documentaries of how he worked and how the movie was created. And it took a lot of people and to be in sync to understand his vision and to make it right. So, but
Right.
the thing I think in those movies what's a lot of times nowadays missing I think it's the characters. The
Mhm.
characters are just so strong and they've all have their voices. They're there for a reason. So
I love
I love.
that. My comfort, go-to movie is Minority Report.
Really?
I love this movie. It was
Wow.
funny. I was watching it one day and again, it was one of those things like back in the day when, something would come on USA, or you would have
Yeah.
cable and you would just go to a random channel and it would be on. And I was like, "Oh, Minority Report. Let me watch this." And I was like, "Is this my favorite movie?" I was just like I think it
Just
fits all
notice.
the parameters of being my favorite movie, but if it's not,
Wow.
it's very, very close. Of course, I love Tom Cruise. I know, I know,
I
I
love Tom.
know. I
I
love Tom
love Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
I do. I can't help it. He's
I would.
he's just
I totally
what are
agree.
you gonna do?
Like I think he's
Yeah.
amazing. I saw his interview when he was just doing Top Gun, and
Hmm.
he was so confident. Like I was
Oh yeah.
shocked. I was like, he's sitting like, he's got his legs spread, and he's like, no, I know what I'm doing. I got it. I was like,
He's a
yo, I
pro.
would
He
get a
knows.
job any day of the week. I would be like, yeah, go for it. I think it's because
Right?
of his confidence that he made everybody just believe that he was the star. He's like this enormous talent,
Well,
because he knew it.
you don't lose points being like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go walk out on that wing of this flying plane for a
Yeah,
while. See you guys in a minute." Make
exactly.
sure it's recording. You're just
Yeah,
like, "Okay, Tommy, do what you need to do." No, I
yep,
this movie in particular has Colin Farrell and Ving
yeah.
Rhames and just a whole lot of
Patrick
people.
Kilpatrick, a friend of
Yes,
mine. Patrick
yes, yep.
Kilpatrick, a really good
And
friend of mine.
it's one of those things in kind of that vein of Fifth Element where it's like near
Yeah.
distant future with, weird technology and
Mhm.
but then also having this very human element to it with the
Yeah.
divinities and there was so much love in this house. It's which I go around and I say to everybody
Yeah.
constantly, like there was so much love in this house. Yeah.
Uh,
But I love that movie. It just I don't know, it's just something about it where I'm like, it never lets me down. I know
yeah.
I'm gonna be entertained no matter what point I come in at. I know it's gonna be you can't see anything without your glasses, Harold. Just like everything. I love it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that
I,
is
I,
mine.
another movie way ahead of its time. When it came out, I'm sure people were like
Yeah.
not appreciative as much, but now they're like, yeah, that
Looking
movie is.
back, you're like, there was a movie with who in it? And it was
Yep.
about what? And you're like, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yes. No,
So,
and now that I do my own like stunts and I fighting movies, I love action. I have so much more respect for Tom. I mean, he is insane for
oh, it's
doing all this stuff.
wild.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, no, it's hard work. It takes
It's
hard
great.
work and a
Yeah.
lot of guts.
I admire from afar. And so we're gonna kind of a little bit sure we're gonna do our last one of a movie or show that you just discovered. And yours was dun 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 dun.
Succession. Yeah,
Woo! Tell us
Succession.
about your discovery of Succession.
So I was lucky enough to be present at the Emmys this year, and when they won multiple awards, I was of course like thrilled and shocked. But I had already discovered that show beforehand. I watched a couple of episodes on the plane, and I was
Mhm.
like, I need to see more. And there was nothing else more. They're just like they tease you, and you're like, oh my god, how long do I have until like I land and I can watch this show? And it was like 14 hours. What? I was flying to Europe and I was like, God damn, now I can't stop thinking about it. And when something like that like goes inside my head, inside my body, and I can't stop thinking about it, oh, I need to watch it. I need to have it. I need to understand it. And I mean, Nicholas Braun is actually a friend of mine, and he's a member of the actor studio like me. So I'm thrilled for his career to just boost up like that, and he deserves it. And the show is amazing, and I would be like so happy and honored myself if I was a part of such show. It's twisted, it's unpredictable, it's uncomfortable as well. It's very obviously political. It's very at times wrong, but at the same time,
Mhm.
it goes to the core of the family love and what
Right.
we would do for our for our families and to what extent would go to. So it's another level of deceiving, but at the same time, it's that strong, powerful family love and reunion. So
I could see on there as like a powerful litigator, just someone who's in there like, sign this, get out of my face.
get
And
out.
yes,
Yeah.
I love it. So my title for a movie I just discovered, I've been on a Florence Pugh kick lately, and I've been trying to watch some of her older stuff. I started watching The
Ah,
Following, but I wasn't too into that. But then I watched Lady Macbeth.
Lady Mac.
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet.
she
I really want to see it.
it's on Freebies. So I mean, you get the commercials, but they still do show the full movie. It is so good, and she's so I mean, it's, like, harrowing, and you're like, "My god, woman," and it's a period piece, so it's all of
I
the
love
above,
period.
but yes,
Love period.
she is fabulous. I just saw, I was about to say, "Don't Call Me Darling," "Don't Worry, Darling,"
I saw
and
that. I saw
yeah,
that.
and I
Yes.
have a lot of thoughts, but one thing that I will not argue about is the sovereignty of Our Lady of Acting, Florence
Yes.
Pugh. She
She was
was fabulous. I've loved her since Midsommar. I think that was the first thing
me
that
too.
I saw her in.
Me too.
And anytime she shows up, she shows out. And
Oh yeah.
Lady Macbeth was no exception. So I highly, highly recommend it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like when when I saw her in Don't Worry, Darling, and she was. I mean, I've read, of course, all kinds of like articles about that film. So I think partially that's what made me watch that movie. Besides her being as an
Mhm.
amazing actress, I just wanted to understand what is all this like
What's
controversy
the
going on?
drama? Yeah.
What is it about? So when I saw it, the one thing that I agree with, I think she gave 110% in that film. She gave it all. So with everything that was going on, if it was true or partially true, she still delivered like an amazing professional actor that she is. So that just
Exactly.
like the movie basically is because of her, like it's elevated so much because of her performance. And again,
Yes.
of course the director, like, I mean, she must have like pushed that out of her. And I always support all the directors, and I know they're the key, to the
Right.
element. So I'm sure she did a great job with her debut film, feature film. So you know what, I'm gonna go watch her other movies. Like I
Yes.
can't say it's a very different movie, and in a way that's why I liked it. It's not what I
Exactly.
expected at all, but I thought, it grew on me. Like at first I was like, huh, what? But now I'm kind of like, when I think about it, I'm like, you know what, I think she was smart for doing something completely different, because
It's
she you
more of right, it's more of an art film, I would
yeah.
say, and kind of putting it in that perspective, I can kind of forgive some of the more kind of, like, egregious flubs, but I
Oh
tell
yeah.
people all the time, I say, I may have my issues, like, especially with the script near the end, however, it was a beautiful film,
Yeah.
and some of the shots were breathtaking, and, of course, the performances were 100% there. And so yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I'll watch it again. I know I will.
Yeah.
And I just love Florence Pugh. So, all the
Yeah.
more better. So yeah,
No,
with
no, no.
that in
I
mind, yeah, there's no one better to go out on, honestly. It's a great little cap to our ending. I wanted to say, Natalie, where can people find you on the internet? Where can we see more of your stuff?
So I encourage people to follow me on Instagram, Natalie_Burn. I have a website, natalieburn.com, Facebook, NatalieBurn01, or just write to me, Natalie@natalieburn.com. And I always respond to my fans, to coworkers, to whoever wants to, like, engage with me. And see if we can work together. I love like, exploring and just finding new things to develop or find ways to work with other people. Like, to me, that's inspiration. Yeah, so I'm
Well, that
here.
sounds super,
Not gonna give
super
you my
fun.
phone number, but
Oh, no, you're okay. I
I'm
think that is
easy.
more than
Hey, come
enough.
on
Yeah,
now, blah blah blah. Forget about Instagram. Just call me.
exactly. Here's my social. Just got it.
Here's
It's
my
cool.
social.
Right. No, we don't need
Here,
all of that.
my keys to
But
my apartment.
exactly. Come on over. We'll have a game night.
Come on over. Have my life any time of the week.
So I would just say they can't find you there, but where they will be able to find you, of course, is on VOD, where the I was gonna say the Expendables again. Tell me the name again. Enforcer, the Enforcer. There we go.
Penalty was a while ago. This is the
That was
enforcer.
a
Yes.
while ago. I know. And so yes, the Enforcer, which is on VOD now, starring Antonio Banderas, Kate Bosworth, and October 21st, Black
And
Adam
me.
coming. Yes, and you. It's so very exciting. So before we go, we want to remind you all that Hollywood Critics Association has lots of amazing content coming out every week, including after shows, pop council on Mondays, and more. Until next time, you can find me, of course, on Instagram at Sticky Keys, STICKYKEYS. Also on Twitter at Sticky Keys, and my website, Yvonne Creative, SYVONNE creative.com. And yeah, there's so much going on, you guys. Just hang in there, stay tuned, and we're going to keep bringing you the best in Hollywood. And so, with that, we're going to sign off. Say goodbye, Natalie.
Bye, Ma. Thank you for having
Yay.
me. I had so much fun.
Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.